Good afternoon, everybody. This is Charles Cook, your host here at Cook Baxter. It's great to be with you, and we're going to be talking today really about the most important thing. We've got three topics, of course, as always, but today we're going to be focusing on DACA because this week was the day, or actually yesterday was the day, maybe it was 2 days ago, was the day in which the U.S., which is DHS, the courts, and New Jersey, these are the three main plaintiffs in this case, were required to submit their briefs to Judge Hannon as a second set of briefs. These are the cross responses to the briefs. And on November 24th, in 12 days, the last briefs are due. The reply briefs, the cross reply briefs are due. So basically, these briefs are basically spent at this stage arguing about either what they wanted to do before or arguing against what somebody else wanted to do. So basically, the state of Texas trying to convince the court that the court has authority to consider everything. In fact, one of the titles is the mandate rule does not limit this court's power to consider still pending substantive challenges and unresolved requests for relief, which it clearly does, by the way, and which the other two parties both say it does. They argue that the mandate does not bar further adjudication of the legal claims, which it does. Basically, Texas continues to argue that DACA recipients shouldn't even live in Texas and not just work in Texas. Of course, that is contrary to what the Court of Appeals said. It's really kind of interesting that they just keep going back to the trough like a pig that's not had its fill. And it also shows you how evil your attorney general is in Texas. He's just an awful human being. And I can't believe a majority of the state citizens keep electing this guy. He's a terrible person. He's a terrible person. Let's really look at really USCIS's brief. That's what everybody is most interested in. And that is, they start out, honestly, I'm going to tell you my honest opinion. This brief could have been written under the Biden administration. There's nothing Trumpy about this brief or about how they deal with DACA here. So first they say, contrary to what is said here, is that Texas is the only state that has made a claim. So Texas is the only state that can receive the benefit of the ruling. They made that clear for several pages. Then they address the claim that Texas wants to preclude work authorization and unlawful presence, which defendants agree with Texas in part on. The defendants, this is USCIS, said the injunction should be limited to individuals residing in Texas, and that work authorization and federal presence provisions of the final rule are severed as they relate to people residing in Texas. But they do not take the position that they can't work in Texas. Okay? They just can't reside in Texas. They make a big point about the fact that the federal government can't tell somebody with DACA not to travel to Texas. It's just not legal that they could do that, and so it can only apply that they live outside the case. And their argument is there is no cost to Texas if somebody lives outside the state and has DACA and travels and works in Texas. There's no cost, because the only cost to the state, remember, was the driver's license, medical care, etc., which they, of course, can't get in Texas. And at this time, what they're saying here is a practical matter, unwinding the lawfulness of DACA's recipients various times and periods of stay in Texas last 30 would be difficult, if not impossible, because they want immigration to say all their time was undocumented. And CIS like, no, we're not going to do that. We're just not going to do that. That's just too much work, and it's stupid. And they also said this: Texas further asked that the injunction limit Texas DACA recipients outside of Texas from using their DACA work authorization in and commute to Texas. And they say this is necessary for emergency medical care if they get sick or something like that. But as immigration points out, actually, the state where the person resides is responsible for paying out-of-state covered medical expenses. So there's no cost to Texas. So USCIS is actually defending you, the DACA recipient who lives somewhere else but works in Texas. Texas, also, this is kind of hilarious. They wanted the government to use E-Verify to track all this stuff, and the government spent several pages explaining that E-Verify can't do that. They just can't do that. It's not part of what E-Verify is capable of doing. So the next part of the case is that whether they can establish other relief, and the government's position is, look, you had your chance. There's been no change in standing. So non-Texas plaintiffs, no opportunity, none. You got no other chances here. Thank you very much. You're out of here. In part 3 of their brief, they argue that that there's some sort of unlawful independent benefits provision, basically trying to get rid of the actual DACA. And the government takes a really interesting position here. So I can find it real quick. It's really interesting. That, quote, DHS has always had the right and the power to prosecute or forbear from prosecution any person illegally present in the United States. And they basically said, it's our job to worry about it, not your job to worry about it. And Texas, you go on your way. Let's see if there's any other interesting part here in regards to what they had proposed earlier. And really, no, not really. So at the end of the day, the remedy that immigration has proposed initially, they're still on track with that remedy, which is basically when the court rules, okay, that DACA no longer applies in Texas as it pertains to work authorization and lawful presence, CIS will then send a letter or an email, I'm not really a little clear which yet, but probably both, to the last address of the DACA recipient, and you got to maintain your address with immigration, that asks you, 1, do you still live in Texas? 2, are you going to be leaving Texas and when? And 3, telling you that if you remain in Texas, when they receive notice back from you within 30 days, they'll give you 30 days to respond probably, they will begin the process of revoking your DACA and canceling lawful presence. So for those of you in Texas, it's not going to be immediate when the judge rules. There's going to be this kind of grace period of 30 or more days from the time you get the letter till you respond, to get your affairs in order and have a residence outside of Texas. But as immigration said, you're not stopped from working in Texas. That would be quite illegal for them to do. So this actually is a really quite well done brief that honestly could have been written by anybody in the Biden administration. Now, the New Jersey folks, of course, they basically said the exact same thing. Because again, Texas wants it all gone, right? They're just really evil that way. And so they just spend most of their brief just arguing that they can't get any declaratory benefits. They can't get rid of it. They can't be forborne. So bottom line is DACA is definitely coming back. We're not hearing any rumblings about them ending DACA nationwide because, frankly, if they were going to end it, this is the easy way to do it, right? Just blame the court. So I don't expect them to do that, certainly not before the next election, but I still think a best practice for DACA recipients, best practice, 1, get an advance parole, and which is going to take 11 months. And they even said in their argument that advance parole will continue. So that's what they've said publicly. Why they're taking 11 months probably has a lot to do with the fact that they've reassigned a lot of these adjudicators that do these simple kind of cases to work for ICE. There's thousands of them that are working for ICE. Yeah, I know. And so 1, get your advanced parole and travel. 2, renew your DACA 1 year out. You lose nothing. You lose nothing by renewing your DACA a year out. I still get too many calls from people saying, I filed my DACA and I'm going to lose my work authorization. When did you apply? 3 months before expiration. What are you thinking? And somebody said yesterday, well, immigration says you can only apply 5 months. No, they said they recommend applying 5 months, not that you only can, and they're wrong. You can apply a year out. So please follow my advice on these 2 things. And of course, we'll answer questions about this a little bit later. But it's really important to know that the next phase of DACA is November 24th, which I think, let me get the date right, that's the Monday of Thanksgiving week. So I'll probably go live on Wednesday that week to talk about it, the day before Thanksgiving. And at that point, the ball is in Judge Hannon's court. Is he going to have oral argument? Is he just going to make a decision? I don't know. I would hope that he would have the human decency to make a decision by the end of the year. I think it's only fair that he does that, since he's disrupted the lives of you folks for the last 4 years. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't know Judge Hannon is a senior judge. Maybe he's so old he can't do it. I don't know. Don't know the guy at all. But hopefully he'll have the decency to do it quickly. And beginning of the year, we can begin getting new DACAs filed and all the 90,000 to get their cases adjudicated. Now, as it pertains to you 90,000, you pending case folks, I understand is that immigration has been trying to do some background work. Remember, everything gets a background check, right? So there is a possibility that they might send you an RFE saying, hey, prove you've been here for the last 4 years and prove to us you deserve DACA. Now, this is where you might see some denials, where them saying, well, we don't think you really deserve DACA. It's our discretion. Give us a reason to give you the discretion. That discretion was automatic under Obama and Biden, but it might not be automatic with these guys. So just be prepared. It's not going to be an immediate approval or immediate denial. They're going to give you an opportunity to respond, and they may even send you to be fingerprinted again. Probably not, but they might. So just be prepared for that for you 90,000. So I think you're going to be adjudicated. Hopefully it'll be starting in January. I hope, but it's all up to Judge Hannon. USCIS is not going to do that. And for you, everybody that would sign up for our lawsuit, looks like we forced their hand on this. So if we're now returned or have returned all that money to folks, we appreciate your confidence in us. But we ended up not having the file because they took the position that they could do it. And if we file now, it doesn't make any sense because the whatever court gets it will just say Judge Hannon. So it would have made no sense to file once we had it. We wanted to make sure. Now we're sure, so we sent the money back. Congratulations, by the way, and thanks for standing up for DACA. We, of course, kept no money to do that, so we do appreciate you very, very much. All right, let's take a look at the new student visa regulations. There's 2 different rules that are proposed or will go into effect soon. One is on DS. Now, DS sounds weird to you because if you don't have a student visa, you know what that means. That means duration of status. So when a student comes in the country, they don't get a fixed term under which they can stay. They can stay as long as they're in school, which could be 4 years, could be 6 years, could be 8 years. I mean, it depends what's your educational track. You're getting a PhD, going to be here a long time. Well, the Trump administration decided that everybody should get their bachelor's degree in 4 years. So put your big boy pants on when you come to school in America because your time is going to be limited. This should be prospective only. Should not be retroactive to people that have DS, but that will likely become a final rule. And I suspect next month, and I suspect that there will be litigation on it. The other rule, which we hear they're going to be proposing shortly, is getting rid of OPT. This is an unmitigated nightmare for students. OPT is optional practical training. It lets students work in the United States for 1 year or up to 4 years if they have a STEM degree. And they just want to get rid of it. They're just going to get rid of it. And this is a wet dream of the Heritage Foundation. It's in Project 2025, as all these things are, because Trump was lying when he said he didn't know what Project 2025 was. I know Trump lies. It's a shock. I'm shocked by that. So they're going to propose to get rid of that. There'll be litigation on that. It won't go away immediately, but for folks that are graduating in December, if they publish it soon enough, you might not get OPT. They might not. It might have. It might be applicable right away. So just be prepared, you students, that those things may be happening. And then the last thing I wanted to mention before we get to our 48 comments so far and questions, I do appreciate you all signing in today and listening. And those of you who listen later, just know that you can always reach out to us. We'll give you some contact information later. That the status, there's three different pieces of litigation that those of us at Impact, and I'm part of Impact Immigration, have going on. One is the H-1B litigation. And so for all of them, so that you know, the courts are closed. They've been closed for the last 42 days because of the shutdown. So no cases have gone forward except for detained cases. Everything else is shut down, which is why, of course, why the DACA stuff was delayed a month. So on the H-1B case, there are two cases. There's the Chamber of Commerce case and our case. The Chamber of Commerce case is just for members of the Chamber of Commerce, which many employers are not, because it's expensive. And they're moving to summary judgment in December. In our case, we'll be also moving towards summary judgment, but likely in the context of more plaintiffs. Many of our plaintiffs' issues were resolved with the interim guidance, but we will likely be moving forward in a much broader action here in the next 3 weeks, and we'll keep you apprised. But the $100,000 fee, you should not be paying that. And if you do, I think you're going to get it back because we're going to win that lawsuit. On the F1 litigation, we have two separate F1 litigations. The first is the visa, F1 visa revocation for those whose visas were revoked as a result of the SEVIS actions in April. That case has been frozen. The government response, however, is not due until I think it's December 2nd, because they have 60 days from when they were served. And I think they were served October 2nd, I think. Top of my head, I'm going off the top of my head. So I think there's not going to be any action on the case until December 2nd. So don't look for anything over the holidays. We will let you know when there's more issues arising on the case. Our guess is the government will file a motion to dismiss, and we'll immediately get into litigation on that. Our other F1 litigation is for Iranian students. I'm going to be filing that today. We're just putting together the cover sheets and the subpoenas, and we'll get it on file by this evening, and we will send you an email out with copies of all those documentations when we do that. And then the government will serve the government hopefully next week, and that will start the 60-day clock, which will be sometime in January. And then hopefully we'll get a solution before 6 months from that date. That'll be kind of the goal. Either the court will dismiss the case or we will win the case, one way or the other. We'll see what goes on. All right, so that's the status of all these cases. And you remember who I am, right? I'm Charles Cook, founding partner here at Cook Baxter. And if you ever want to reach me, make an appointment, you just call this number, 404-816-8611, or you can email me. And as anybody will tell you, I answer all my emails myself. I don't have an email answerer. I sit here in my office and I answer emails. And yet you can see Cook at immigration.net. You can also get a lot of information on our website at immigration.net. And also follow me on Twitter because that's where all the fun political stuff happens. So let's take a look here at some of the questions. It's up to 63 now. And I'm not going to answer duplicative ones. So keep in mind, we're going to be going for this. Julie, good to see you. Glad you're here today. VD Argentino, good to see you from North Carolina. That's awesome. We got a lot of hellos today. Ours Violet, how soon after Judge Hanson makes his decision? I think it'll be basically immediately. I mean, they're set up for it. So I think they'll be ready to go immediately once he makes the decision. I would give him 24 hours, obviously. Does my 12-year-old niece qualify for DACA? Nope, she does not. Why? Why does your 12-year-old niece not qualify for DACA? Well, that's easy. DACA has three basic requirements. One, you had to be under 15 when you came to the United States. Two, you had to be here in the United States under 15 on June 15th, 2007. So somebody's 12, they came after that date. The third requirement is you also had to be here on June 15th, 2012. Have to be here on those 2 dates and be able to prove it. So unfortunately, your 12-year-old niece does not qualify. There are a group of people that didn't apply between September 2017 and June 15th, 2022. After June 15th, 2022, there are no new 15-year-olds eligible. They don't exist anymore because, again, they had to be here in 2007. So there's a limited number of new people, probably 200,000 or 300,000 is our guess, that can apply. And of course, anybody who didn't apply initially, I've got several of those clients. What are the chances Hannon listens? No, he can't. He's not. Hannon's not going to go out on Hannon's a senior judge. He's not going to end his career disobeying the Fifth Circuit. That's just not going to happen. Then there would be an appeal. That's not going to happen. Saludos, abogado. Thank you for doing live stream. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you guys could enjoy it here today. Chicago federal judge will decide hundreds of unlawfully detained individuals will be freed. Hearing, oh, that's great. I wish them well. ICE Border Patrol has now moved to our friends in Charlotte, North Carolina, just in time for Thanksgiving. Is this for real? No visa if you're obese? Well, that is certainly an internal guidance, apparently, given to consular officers. It's actually the policy in New Zealand, by the way. If you're obese, you can't immigrate to New Zealand. But it is contrary to the actual law. So, no, I don't see that happening. Jasmine read the briefs. Is there a possibility for those other states that a joint Texas will be able to file new evidence? No. It's too late. It's too late to do that. They forfeited that chance long ago. It's over. There's no new evidence. Chance of DACA coming back? Excellent. Buenos tardes. As you know, I'll answer questions in Spanish as well. Pues, ¿cuánto está demorando la cita para la ciudadanía? Si se sometió la aplicación antes de 20 de octubre, son 3 a 4 meses. Well, then how long is Nat's application interviews taking? If you filed before December 20th, then they're like 3 to 6 months. 3 a 6 meses. You're welcome, Erica. My pleasure. Did my interview 2 weeks ago still a decision to upload my joint bank, even though they didn't ask? You never give them, never volunteer information. Never volunteer information. I mean, just wait. It takes them like 2 months. Just wait for 60 days. You'll be fine. Too Cool Cat 445. Do you recommend for DACA recipients to move out of Texas as soon as possible, or should they wait for the ruling? That's entirely a personal decision. If it was me, I would be making plans now. And then I would move after the ruling came out, after Christmas, right? It's going to be after Christmas. So spend Christmas with your family, then move out somewhere. Oklahoma, Louisiana, New Mexico, Utah, I don't know. But I would move out. I would plan to move out. Live in Texas, waiting on my AP to get approved. I'm planning to do AOS after. I'll say the ULP will not affect you. ULP will not affect you if you have your advanced parole and you adjust status. You'll be okay. Will we be able to apply for AP in Texas? No, you won't be able to apply for AP in Texas. Jasmine, it would still be safe for DACA holders who live outside the cluster. Yes, it's perfectly fine. There's no internal check. There's actually in the Constitution is a constitutional guarantee of free travel between the states. The checkpoints you're referring to are Border Patrol checkpoints. Those are not state of Texas checkpoints, and yes, you can travel to the state. That's a point immigration makes in their brief. So is this DACA mess what's causing AP delays? Oh, I think it's a big part of it. But I think a bigger part of the AP delays are immigration is just reassign people. They don't have anybody working on them. Jasmine, it said yes as long as you don't live or reside there. There you go. I'm in Texas, and you did AP this year. Would unlawful presence affect my legal entry? No, you still have the legal entry, just unlawfully present. Edgar, good to see you, my friend. I hope your life is treating you well. Hernandario Escobar. I can do something. If I get detained, I've deported one from 20 years ago. If you have a bona fide determination with a pending U visa, I have seen ICE detain you. You're going to need to file a habeas corpus petition to get out of custody. So make sure you got a lawyer that can file a habeas petition as quickly as possible. Don't say the DHF can be written by a body, or you might summon Donnie. Thank you. Any chance this being appealed? No, Lindsay and I both agree it won't be appealed. It's not going to the Supreme Court either. Why is Trump DHS pro-DACA all of a sudden? Well, I think I don't think Trump is necessarily anti-DACA. I mean, obviously Stephen Miller is, right? But I think politically it's a loser for them. Because if you end DACA, now you force Congress to deal with the issue when they don't want to deal with the issue. And if they deal with this issue, deal with all the other issues. So they just don't want to tilt the toad over. So they're just gonna. I think that's why it's a political calculation. Mi hijo está en proceso de green card, tenía la green card condicional, mes pasado se metió el cambio, la green card de 10 años, de 20 años. Esto lo de escucha, no le afecta a él. Él está bien, es residente, no se preocupe. Su vida está bien, no se preocupe. Her son's got a conditional residence. She's worried about this affecting him, and it's not going to affect him. There's a lot of people waiting since January, 11 months is here. I have a lot of confidence. Like I said, we got one approved recently that had been pending for 11 months, so I suspect we'll see more. Abogado, buenas tardes. Yo solicité el parol de empleo hace 4 meses. ¿Cuánto es lo máximo que se debe esperar? ¿En cuánto tiempo se tarda para llevar? El parol, no sé qué es un parol empleo. No hay, por militar. Por militar son 6 a 12 meses. Yes, Cynthia is going to do the AP and travel. I have the new briefs discuss the stay or wind down the period. No, they don't discuss that. If you get DACA and have legal entry to the U.S., can you do adjustment of status if you reside here for more than 25 going on 26 years? If you have a child who's a citizen that's 21 or you're married to a citizen. Those are the only 2 bases which a DACA recipient with advanced parole can adjust status. Victor Gutierrez, it could take even longer than that. There's estimates based on U.S. website. Okay. Mi hermanita cruzó la frontera y dio su dirección, pero apuntaron mal y nunca recibió una citación para irse a la corte. ¿Podría ese ser motivo para cancelar su tiempo después de casado? Well, ¿hace cuánto tiempo? Si fue hace mucho tiempo, va a ser duro. So this individual, she crossed the border and they wrote her address down wrong, so she never got notice of her hearing. And he wants to know, is this going to hurt her and it's going to help her if she moves to reopen based upon marriage to a U.S. citizen? The issue is under Trump, he's going to ask, why'd you wait so long? Why'd you wait so long? So it might or might not help her. A lot depends on the judge. Attorney, can you talk about TPS Honduras? I have no news for TPS Honduras other than it doesn't exist anymore. And the case is challenging that is pending. That's all there is. There's nothing else to talk about. Well, time to leave. I addressed that, Gustavo. I'm flattered, Carlos. I'm not the GOAT, but I do appreciate that. Él no te va a responder, solo está explicando cosas. No, siempre respondo, Henry. Siempre respondo. Is it true that this administration wants to take driverless immigrants, legal, DACA, and undocumented? Well, they certainly want them out of the undocumented stand, but DACA recipients are documented. So the answer to that question is no. Can ICE detain a pending T visa applicant before BFD? Yes. They can detain them because they're undocumented and they have no immediate relief. Pedro Ulloa se supone que ahorita está tardando 11 meses. Okay. So is the workman being revoked for sure? It is for sure being revoked in Texas. You will have to move and get a CDL somewhere else. Okay. Carmen mandó su renovación de permiso de trabajo en marzo. Se me venció en septiembre. Mi abogado me mandó el recibo que migración le mandó, pero aún no recibo mi renovación. Apliqué por VAWA. ¿Qué puedo hacer? Mi abogado dice que está esperando por esto de la migra. ¿Qué puede hacer? Gracias. So she has a VAWA and her work permit is expiring. It's now expired. Tienes que seguir esperando, Carmen. No, puedes hacer una demanda. Si vas a perder su trabajo, puedes hacer una demanda en la Corte Federal, pero eso cuesta dinero. Would it be safe to say that it's best interest to anyone with DACA in Texas is screwed and need to leave the state? You could say that. I get it's home. Yeah, he does. Your attorney general doesn't want you there. Why would you be in a state where the politicians don't want you? Other states are happy to have you. DACA, trust me, Texas is not the be-all, end-all of states. Can DACA recipients sue them for the impact on their lives? No. Do you think that for permanent residents, they have past minor offenses will be deported if encountered by ICE? No. Anything that occurred before you got your residence is over. It cannot be used against you. It can't. You're fine. Now, you get convicted of something after your residence, you should be talking to a lawyer. Is it true that DACA recipients are suing since they are taking away the driver's? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that issue. It's not my thing. Let's see. I got withholding removal back in 2004. I have a pending on since 23. No criminal record. I have a college degree. Of business. Do you think I'm in danger of deportation? Yes, I think you're in danger of deportation. I do. Who filed an I-130 for you? because you need to talk to a lawyer and get some protection. You're the kind of people they're sending to Somalia, okay, or Sudan or Liberia. Withholding and removal means they can't send you back to your home country. Doesn't mean they can't deport you somewhere else, and Trump is doing that. As a physician, would you still suggest waiting for the lawsuit rather than pursuing a national interest exemption alternative? You can do an O1. I don't know what your needs are. I mean, you're the only one that knows what your immediate needs are. I would talk to legal counsel. If you don't have one, you should call me, and I can be your legal counsel. And that way you don't have to ask questions on the internet. For Texas, DACA recipients, can we live out of state but work? Yes. Yeah, you can work. Can't stay in Texas. You can work in Texas. Andrea Best Court, paused it for now. Okay, let's see. How is it looking for Texas for signing on November 27th? I don't know what that means, Jadira. Don't know what that means. My late father petitioned for me back in 2000. Unfortunately, the case wasn't completed. Now I'm married to take proof of that. For 25 before he was no law. Your FOIA got nothing? I mean, all you have to show is that it was approvable when filed. Was the case approvable when filed? So Rosie, I would need to see the FOIA. It's the kind of case where you make an appointment. We do a Zoom appointment, and I will go over everything with you and see what your options are. Jimmy, I answered that question already, so go back to the beginning. You'll see my answer. My job offered me a sponsor for EB2 NIW. I have a legal entry. I've been DACA since I was 25th to the U.S. You need to do consular processing, Marcel. You cannot adjust status for employment under a DACA advanced parole. But if you got DACA before you were 18, you are just fine to do consular processing. And you go to that, so as somebody learned this week, they hired me afterwards, you got to bring with you all your DACA papers to show you were always in status. All right, Taylor. My husband and I are in Mexico waiting for his IR interview. His interview was 1031, put that into a system. Okay, they kept his passport. Usually it's 2 to 3 weeks at the most, Taylor. I'd reach out to the consulate. Or have your lawyer do so. Good afternoon, Mr. Cook. I have DACA in Texas. My employer sponsored me for H-1B since June 2026. Should I wait for the H-1B to be approved or move out? You mean June 2025? I would wait. I would move out of Texas because you're going to start accruing unlawful presence. I think you can. It's just as long as you got your DACA before you were 18, you're fine to travel to get your visa stamp. If you got DACA after you were 18, you can still do it, but you have to ask for a waiver, and you might be stuck out of the country for 9 months. So I don't recommend doing that. All right, Vanessa. I am hoping for good news soon, too. Hola, abogado, how are you? Can I apply for EB2 visa while having DACA being an auto body, BMW, Jaguar? I don't see how an EB2 that qualifies for an EB2. That's an EB3. I don't see that applies for EB2. Remember, Vanessa runs Dreamers Together. She's totally awesome. If you're not a Dreamers Together member, you should be. Great website, great Facebook page, lots of great information. While working with a fix is going to affect new DACA applications, probably, because it shows you don't have good moral character. What do you think to try to request expedite? It's a waste of your time. They're not going to expedite. They're down to 24 months now. I mean, I've seen them deny expedite for somebody with cancer, with a qualifying spouse had cancer. Very hard, terrible. Admitted alien versus arriving alien. Reality is nowadays, especially those who had CV. Well, that's just a question that's factual to each individual person. So I don't know what the question is, but it's an interesting statement, and we certainly deal with it every day. Eric Roman, how do you know? Mine doesn't expire, but I live in Texas, so I might explore another state that offers DACA or CDL. Okay. Yo mandé mi renovación de trabajo en Mar. Oh, yeah, she already asked that questions. I live in Texas. Should I be looking to move? Yes. In Texas, how will the unlawful presence affect those that have any future meeting? You'll have unlawful presence, which means you won't be able to consular process without a waiver. That's what it means. There will be no appeal. Thank you, Shelley. I'll answer that one last time. How would the residence thing work for those living in Texas with DACA? Just like, could you legally spend most of your time in Houston? That's a good question. And the immigration said, not their problem. You just got to reside somewhere else. Remember, reside is where you sleep. You can spend all day in Texas, but you got to sleep in Louisiana. Okay, let's see. I'm in Illinois. Can you get a lawyer, or do you take? We take clients from all the country. Our clients are statewide, but if you've got a specific Illinois question, I can refer you to Carlina Tapia Ruano. Carlina is an extraordinary lawyer. Her firm is wonderful. Again, Carlina Tapia Ruano. Any update on DACA with CDL? No, I've got none. I have a visa T, and I can apply for green card, but worry because of what said obesity. No, you're going to be fine. They're not going to deny you because you got a few extra pounds. Otherwise, we're all in trouble. And isn't it just a little hypocritical of Trump? I'm just saying. Kettle's black, right? Kettle's black. So's the pot. What would be a good evidence to prove it if they ask for a pending initial application? Oh, I don't know. Whatever they ask for. Tell me what they ask for. I'll tell you what to provide. I don't think there'll be advanced parole for Texas. No. Have you seen the latest update on lawsuit of some guy from Movant saying fee needed to detect fraud by Indians scamming IT, plus saying global nurse force? Oh, you're talking about that? Yeah, that clown is going to run for governor in Texas in Florida. Yeah. Look, Shaw, they want to get rid of H-1Bs. It's the next thing on their list. I have DACA. Yes, you can apply the first time now. If someone gets detained by ICE while working, can they contact you for representation? Yes, they can. We let new clients hire us all the time. We've got 12 lawyers here. We've got more than enough capacity to handle one more person. That's not a problem. I mean, I can see why solo practitioners can't do it, but they want your money. See, we don't want a retainer money. They want to keep your retainer money. We don't. I don't want your money. You just pay me when you hire me. Yo tenía TPS y dice, tengo mi propia compañía, puedo aplicar para algo. No. So, lo siento. I need major help. My work authorization comes so it's only my car a month ago. I was let go of my job and I'm looking for work. I got hired almost on the spot this week at a place that requires physical copy. They do. I already applied for a new one. Any way I can get a copy of my card. Your lawyer didn't have a copy? I mean, the federal law says they need to see the original card. So, Alam, I'm sorry. This is why you don't leave your crap in your car. You carry it with you. A car is not a safe place. A lot of thieves out there. Congress to do something, not unless they cancel it. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. I already answered a lot of these questions. Following the H-1B lawsuit. Well, good for you, Sean. I'm glad you're doing that. As a doctor is able to apply since we're living in Texas, what is unlawful presence? How would it affect my case with AUS through marriage? It wouldn't affect you at all on AUS through marriage so long as you have a lawful entry. Okay. Let's see. We already talked about grace period. We explained that early on. Go down and take a look at the video early on. Moving out of Texas would create credit hardship, breaking apartment lease, moving expenses. You accept this as a reality. If you want to keep working, this is the reality. I'm sorry. I think it sucks. I do. But it is what the court ordered. And the court order is always convenient. You can blame Paxton. The guy's a jerk. And yes, you can still apply for advanced parole for the 50,000th time. Please apply for advanced parole. I just got DACA renewal. This time online was faster. Submitted 9/11, approved 11/1. File for the advanced parole. Have a great time. Does our office do T visas? Yes, we do. My partner, Dustin Baxter, is actually the expert, one of the nation's experts on T visas. You should talk to him. This new directive from Trump about denying owners of diabetes, well, it's not from Trump, actually. The irony wouldn't escape you. It's from Rubio. Okay, it's the consular officers. We have seen nobody denied because of this. Frankly, because the obesity is mostly in the United States. I mean, pot and kettle, after all. Wait, you have to pay $100 for new continue. No, that's for asylum applications currently on hold. Any approved 601s? Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of 601s. They're taking about 24, 25 months. Just got 3 approved this week. Is it true you have to have health problems like diabetes and don't have health insurance and consular broker can deny your visa? Again, that is not the case under the law, but that is a memo that was sent out by Rubio, but we have not seen that in practice. Okay. Does reaching out to your state contacts help your AP get faster? I've not seen that be the case. Mi hijo recibió su carta de extensión por Green Card al salir para México. Él decidió que va a salir. No tiene que decirle nada a nadie. Also, if somebody's waiting for their green card in the mail and I stop them, would they be okay? Yeah, show them the pending case. And frankly, you should have an approval letter before the card comes. Are pending applications going to be approved after the final ruling? No. Not if you still live in Texas. You'll have to move to get those decided. Follow up on the T visa question. Doesn't ICE have to use a T visa, by the way, is for victims of trafficking, human trafficking, human smuggling, or work trafficking. Doesn't ICE have to use discretion when trying to detain or apply? Yes, they do. And their discretion is always to detain. So they're abusing their discretion. Any updates on not DHS, but Customs and Border Protection, Charlotte? I do not. Would you suggest starting the consular process while we wait for AP or later switch to AOS? Yes, I would start the consular process while you're waiting. You never know what's going to happen, right? Can I live outside of Texas and work there? Yes, you can. Absolutely. Can we still do advanced parole? Yes, you do. You can still do advanced parole. Gracias por las explicaciones. Muchas cosas les hemos hecho nosotros mismos. Gracias a sus consejos. Chéverísimo. Do you think they will grant TPS for Jamaica because of Hurricane Melissa? I think there is a 0.0% chance that Trump will ever grant TPS for anybody, especially a country of black people. I'm not saying Trump's a racist, but actions speak louder than words. I have my second AP multiple entries and safe to enter through OTA Port of Entry. Yes, you're going to pay $1,000 though. Every time you go, it's $1,000. I recommend flying. Always recommend flying. If you're in Texas, do you recommend still renew DACA if the work permit is going to be revoked? Of course, because that's this way you can't be deported. Are DALE recipients safe from deportation? I don't know what DALE means. I'm sorry. You got me on this one. You got me. I don't know. Let's see. If we're revoked in Texas, we move around, say, can work permits still be used in another state? You won't have a work permit. You have to live in another state to get the work permit. How to sponsor parents for a green card if they can't get a birth certificate? Please, born. At least for India, there are special rules about affidavits that you can follow. Welcome to Calls for an Appointment, Shannon. We can walk you through the process. Let's see. I would like to know about visa reversal, which happened to the service termination. Any updates? Roshan, you didn't get here in time. So go back and rewind and look for that tag where I talked about that. Are asylum cases other than Venezuela, Honduras being approved? Yeah. And a lot of Honduras and Venezuela are being denied. Just understand that. Let's see. If I have DACA and also working with a view visa, can I ask for AP with DACA? You can. My fiance visa just got denied. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, fiance can't be. Oh, his asylum got denied. Why don't you marry him? Why don't you marry him? Solve the problem. Yeah, he's in removal proceedings. If he went through the appeal process, it's kind of a deportation order. Is it safe to travel on advanced parole? 100% yes. Stephanie, what happens if my initial DACA is on hold? I'm in Texas. I leave Texas. I have to pass the checkout. You don't pass the checkpoint. That's the states they don't have checkpoints on leaving. You can move out whenever you want to. I recently got married, wanted to do advanced parole, then AOS, but I'm concerned about my 2 arrests. One of them charges got dropped to misdemeanor reckless driving. You can still proceed with the process, Odeo. DACA recipients cannot donate to political campaigns. No, do not. Don't touch guns. Don't touch politics. Don't touch voting. Stay away. A lot of medical employers reluctant to go with an 01 at the minute. I get it, because they're hard. We do lots of them, but they're hard. Green card holders, any travel issues? No tips. Just bring your green card with you and don't be gone more than 180 days a year. So if USCIS has paid us for 4% as DACA, is that a disqualifier? No, that's not a disqualifier. And how are they going to have them? Are you going to give them to them? Why would you give them to them? That'd be stupid, actually. Is it safe to travel for the H-1B? Sure, if you don't have any unlawful presence. If you have unlawful presence, you're going to be in Mexico a while. Can you still travel to Texas from home visits? Home visits where? Where are you going? How long does it take to get a decision after filing a motion via Calderon settlement? Well, they all have to be filed by January 19th. Have you not gotten yours yet? You should follow up with your lawyer. Lawyer recommend Tucson. All right. You want to go see Mo Goldman. Maurice. Mo Goldman, like oro, hombre de oro. All right. Mo Goldman. He is the best. You tell him I said hello, and that his hair is funny. Can you do that for me? Make sure you say that his hair is funny. Mo's a great guy and a great lawyer in Tucson. What if you spend weekdays in Louisiana, weekends in Texas? Look, I can't draw those kind of lines for you. Just understand you have to reside not in Texas. Okay. While traveling back to Texas with DACA for the holidays, future for you, that's perfectly fine to do that. Nobody's checking your papers when you come to the state. DACA with an administratively closed asylum case as per EOI last year. Now I checked again, no records come up for me. What's going on? Yeah, I actually had that happen for somebody else too. And I can't explain it to you. Other than if your underlying case was an asylum case, then maybe taking those off the public-facing page. You may only be able to see those through what's called the ECAS system. So maybe your lawyer can see it. Let's see. Are you seeing a lot more people in AP and Juarez? No more than normal or abnormal. Undocumented detained by ICE, are they allowed to be released with a bond? No, only if a judge grants a bond. All those asking questions should be liking this post. Thank you. Like this post. Thank you. Give us a like if you like us. I see these videos about like the post, subscribe. Obviously, you should do those things. I don't mention that because I'm just really here to provide good information. Thank you very much, Spicy. Will they be revoking work permits right away? No, go back to the beginning. I talked about that. Once you get detained, is it too late to file for parole in place? Yes, it is. If my 190 visa overstayed, does he qualify for a bond if he gets caught by ICE? Yes, he does. I'm from New York. I submitted my application 2021, scheduled for biometrics. But due to Texas court, what should I do? You should wait. Because, Rolando, you are going to get adjudicated when the case is over. And hopefully you'll be approved. I talked about specifically you at the beginning part of this presentation. Go back to like minute 5, and it'll be right around there somewhere. Recently earned my doctor of physical therapy degree, passed boards. I've had DACA since 12. Do physical therapy skip? Yes, you skip. You skip the labor certification. Have your employer sponsor you for an EB-2. It's about a 3-year wait, and then you can consular process. Congratulations, Alvin. Totally awesome. Big round of applause for Alvin. The crowd goes wild. Awesome. How do you prepare clients for their interview in Juarez? You should hire me and find out. That's a good topic one day. I think I'll do that in one of my lives. What are the criteria to advance parole likelihood to get approval? Oh, I'm not going to spend time answering that. That's a lot longer than I have. But we've got other videos that talk about that on the YouTube channel. You can go back and take a look at that. Let's see. My son turns 21 in a year and a half. I have legal entry. I have DACA. I live in Texas. Unlawful presence will not affect you to apply for adjustment of status. What does happen if you, for example, get mugged, lose your ED card? You ask for replacement. You pay the fee and you ask for replacement because you need the card. If one has an in absentia removal order and an approved motion via Calderon, 6-way waiver approved, is it safe to do consular processing? Yes, because your case is terminated. Absolutely. All right. If DACA expires June 2nd, I'd file because you're going to move, right? And we've seen people approved in weeks recently. How much on average habeas corpus costs on average in your firm? I don't know the nationwide. And Haley, we never, ever talk fees on our lives. Make an appointment, talk to me, and we'll go over the case and tell you the fee. If my husband enters the U.S. with a visa but overstayed, does he qualify for a bond? We already asked that. Only ask a question once. Let's see. Have you seen a lot of NTAs? I've seen a lot of NTAs because that's what I do. I help people with their NTAs. Somebody's moving from Texas soon. Good idea. Well, we'd love to help you when you get to that point, Maria. Those asking questions, okay, let's see. Can I still do AS from after a decision is made here? Yes, as long as you've got the legal entry. My husband and I have been together for a year and married 7 months. Do you recommend starting in the U.S.? Wait till you've been married? No, you can start now. If you've got a legal entry, start now. What are you waiting for? ¿Qué puedo hacer? Tengo 36 para aprobación de sesión. Usted debe ser llamada al número 800 porque eso es más que normal. Attorney recommendations, Chicago. That would be Carlina Tapia Ruano. She is awesome. Carlina Tapia Ruano. Let's see. Green card holders, travel tips. Can CBP denied to enter the U.S.? Tips for green card holders. I actually have a whole show on that. You go back to YouTube and you'll see that. Email my AR11 change of address today. Will they update that on my online profile? That they will. To renew an E2, do I have to hold a substantial amount of capital like first time or showing good cash flow, having employees enough? Well, you have to show you made the investment and the investment is still there, as well as having cash flow and employees. Is matter of ZRCC still law? It is still law. My mother-in-law got her VAWA approved of the claims that my wife emotionally abused her. Oh my God, what a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry. Those claims are such garbage. It does not affect your adjustment of status, Hugo. That's just a bunch of garbage. I'd love to see how much of that was really true. You're welcome, Miguel. My pleasure. Call their own motions and payments in September? Dude, call your lawyer. If my husband enters the U.S. with a visa but overstayed, does he qualify for bond? Yes, he does. Lawyers in Maryland. I'll give you the name of a lawyer in D.C. who does all of Maryland. That would be Ava, A-V-A, Banash, B-E-N-A-C-H. She is amazing. She is amazing. Best lawyer in Texas. Well, Texas is a big-ass state, right? It's a really big state. To me, the best lawyer in Texas is Robert Lofgren at Foster. They're fantastic. Also, Raed Gonzalez, R-A-E-D Gonzalez. They're both in Houston. Actually, Robert's in Austin. So it just depends on where you want to stay. Okay, once you start acquiring leave, does that get forgiven when you do AUS for children? It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It doesn't get forgiven. It's just completely irrelevant. All right, a couple more questions. Recipient of DALE work. Oh, deferred action for labor. I never heard it called DALE before. If you've got deferred action for that, yes, you're safe from deportation. Am I available today for an appointment? No. Or tomorrow? I might be. You go to my website at immigration.net and you can check it out. Would you take an O1 case if you have citations? Yeah, of course. We'll take a look at it. Just email me, and we'll send you our list of what we need to make an evaluation. DACA gets denied. Will they issue a deportation order? We believe that they will, actually. Wait time for an EB3 from start to end, probably 6 years right now. Let's see. Are parents of citizens getting interviews? Absolutely. Absolutely. Any hope for those with permanent bar? Well, we'll update you when we have news on the lawsuit. It's pending. Hello, if my DACA expires while still waiting for my new approval, do I have to stop working if my employer has not mentioned anything? That's entirely, I can't tell you to break the law. Okay? My dog is making, what are you doing? She's trying to get in her crate. Kind of crazy. Why would you say anything? I mean, I don't understand why you'd say anything. I can't tell you to break the law. Let's see. I haven't done AP, but I came to the U.S. with tourist visas and overstayed. You don't need to do advanced parole. Future, no, well, as long as you're applying through a spouse, you're fine. Any hope for Sudanese citizens to get lifted from the travel ban list? I don't think so. Trump doesn't like black people. Please do a video. I'll do that video with tips on Juarez. Actually, you know what? I'll bring my assistant Stephanie on, who went through the process in Juarez. I have no reason to do AP. My family has visas, so they come and visit. What do you recommend so I can get acquired legal status and enter AOS? Get some dental work done. We're going to a humanitarian trip. Let's see. A lot of questions today. My grandma has 2 illegal entries. She's denied a visa, but can my U.S. citizen and petitioner, as long as she's been down there for 10 years, she certainly can. Absolutely. She can get a waiver for that. You're welcome, Reeves. Always a pleasure. Let's see. Last couple of questions here as our time is running out. Alabama, North Alabama. Yeah, me. I mean, we're right by North Alabama. It's only like 3 hours away. We can help you. And I don't know anybody else there that I would refer you to. You're welcome, Maria. It's a great group. It's just a delight to talk to people. Let's see. Anything else I haven't answered here yet? Are detainees getting out of detention to fight their case? Our clients are, because we're winning our habeas corpus petitions. I did AP but have abstention. Can I still do AUS? Yes, you can, Wilbur. You should hire us to find out how. Again, we got some You want to call for an appointment, you call 404-816-8611, 404-816-8611, or you can email me at ccook, C-K-U-C-K at immigration.net. That's ccook, C-K-U-C-K at immigration.net. Finally, I'm Charles Cook. I'm the founding partner here at Cook Baxter. I'll be back next Wednesday at 1 o'clock talking immigration in Espanol. And you guys have a great, safe week out there. Enjoy yourselves. Bye.